number of COVID-19 cases continues to rise globally and right here in Guyana. Therefore, we encourage everyone to practice social distancing. Wear a mask if you have to leave your homes and wash your hands thoroughly and frequently as we all strive to stop the spread of the virus. Welcome to InfoHub for Monday, July 13. Thanks for joining us. As the second week of examinations kick off, CSEC and CAPE students continue to turn out to schools on the strict health and safety rules. Letitia Isaacs has the details.
Equipped with masks and hand sanitizers and their usual examination materials, 5th and 6th form students around Guyana on Monday sat another leg of their CSEC and CAPE exams. Among the subjects timetabled for Monday, July 13 are French, Spanish, Portuguese, and music at the CSEC level, and French, Spanish, management of business, logistics and supply chain operations, and sociology at the CAPE level. The various departments of education have erected hand-washing stations at all schools. Additionally, schools have on-call doctors, sick bay and quarantine areas, temperature checks, and social distancing signage. All public school candidates will be administered the paper-based examination under strict COVID-19 guidelines. Across 168 centers and schools in Guyana, 11,998 students are sitting CSEC and 851 students are sitting CAPE examinations, which are scheduled to end on August 4 for written examinations and August 21 for oral examinations for modern languages. Letitia Isaacs for InfoHub.
The chair of the Guyana Elections Commission, Justice Retired Claudette Singh, has instructed Chief Elections Officer to present a final report by 2:30 p.m. on Tuesday, July 14, using figures from the national recount. This follows a meeting of the Commission today. Commissioner Vincent Alexander told the media that the chair has hinted that if the report is not in keeping with her instructions, then she will ask the Deputy Chief Elections Officer to complete that final report. Alexander said the Chief Elections Officer was clear in his position that the submitted report was in keeping with the laws of Guyana. The report submitted by the CEO shows a victory for the incumbent APNU plus AFC coalition. A detailed report can be found on DPI's website. COVID-19 updates over the weekend show 20 recoveries, whilst the number of active cases now stands at 126 as of July 12. More in this Delicia Haynes report.
On Friday, when the Ministry of Public Health provided its last video update, recovered cases stood at 134. 14 additional persons were declared recovered on Saturday, while another 6 were cleared on Sunday. To date, 154 persons have recovered. Even as this can be lauded, the ministry continues to see a climb in confirmed cases. As of Sunday, July 12, 2020, confirmed cases were at 297, 126 of these were active cases. Also, over the weekend, another COVID-19 death was recorded. It was a 69-year-old female of Region 4 who succumbed at the Georgetown Public Hospital on Saturday, July 11. The curfew is still in effect and persons are urged to take all the necessary precautions to protect themselves from exposure to the coronavirus. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
The Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, the Honorable Sidney Allycock, has condemned the recent arson attack on the Umanayana, noting that Guyana must be about building and not destroying as the nation moves forward in unity. In a video statement today, the minister described the arson attempt as incomprehensible. Minister Allycock highlighted that the Umanayana is a national treasure and a meeting place for all Guyanese. He also reminded that the building, which was destroyed previously by fire in 2016, was rebuilt at a high cost. He has called on all Guyanese to join in condemning the dastardly act. The final report of Chief Elections Officer Kit Lowenfield has shown a win for the APNU plus AFC coalition. Here now is Alexis Rodney.
Taking guidance from the July 1 ruling of the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CEO submitted his report to GCOM's Chair Justice Claudette Singh on Saturday. Justice Singh had written to the CEO on Thursday, July 9, asking that he submits his report, which should also represent the numbers generated from the certificates of recount from the recently concluded national vote recount. However, since the CCJ had essentially disregarded the recount process, the CEO sought further guidance from the chair on what report should be submitted, in keeping with the CCJ's ruling. The chair, however, did not provide the guidance sought by the CEO, but instead further instructed him to present the report she requested. In his report on Saturday, Lowenfield noted that his decision was in keeping with the Constitution, which requires an elections report based only on the reports of the 10 returning officers. He cited Article 177 2b of the Constitution, which affords the CEO the right to advise the chairman of the election results, which must be declared. He said his report then was in accordance with his statutory and constitutional duties and all applicable laws. The CEO's report shows that some 475,118 valid votes were cast at the march to polls. From that number, the incumbent APNU AFC saw victory with some 236,777 votes, while the PPP acquired 229,330. Three small parties together acquired 5,090 votes. From the numbers, APNU AFC will be allocated 33 seats, the PPP 31, and the Journalist 1. For InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
Meanwhile, APNU plus AFC supporters on Sunday engaged in peaceful protests as they called for the immediate swearing-in of President David Granger for a second term, as a report submitted by the Chief Elections Officer shows a victory for the coalition government. Supporters lined the streets of Region 3 and 10 with their placards calling for the Guyana Elections Commission to make the declaration of the March 2, 2020 elections results. The supporters stated that the country has waited long enough, and now that the report has been submitted, the process must not be delayed any further. More news after this short break. Stay with us.
The COVID-19 pandemic has had a devastating effect on communities all across Guyana. Many households and individuals now find themselves in need of public assistance. The government of Guyana will be assisting the most vulnerable. Those eligible to apply for this assistance are as follows. Individuals and/or households who are currently benefiting from public assistance provided by the Ministry of Social Protection. Individuals and/or households who applied for public assistance and are awaiting a response from the Ministry of Social Protection. Individuals and/or households who suffered a loss of income due to COVID-19, and households headed by senior citizens or persons with disabilities. Application forms can be downloaded from the Ministry of Social Protection's website at www.mosp.gov.gy or government.gy/eform/241. For further information, please call these numbers. We are in this together. This is a message from the Government of Guyana. We are here to serve you.
Welcome back. Director of Prisons Gladwell Samuels, updating the media today, said following the prison fire on Sunday, the 284 displaced prisoners have since been relocated. Isaiah Braffett tells us more.
The fire and riot started after a prisoner was observed with a parcel by an officer. The prisoner was then searched, and the discovery of 2 parcels of cannabis, a bottle containing rum, and a cellular phone was made. Happening simultaneously, 2 other prisoners had a confrontation. According to Samuels, it alleged that one of the prisoners was assaulted by an officer. Samuels noted that it led to the prisoners becoming uneasy, and the officer in charge, in an attempt to bring the prison to normalcy, was met with demands. So demands included the return of the parcel that was seized. When the demands were not met, the prisoners took action that led to the destruction of the building that was housing the prisoners despite the fire being contained.
We saw the displacement of, a minister would have mentioned what is normally the capacity of the prison, but we saw the displacement of 284 prisoners. Our initial response was to segregate those persons we knew could not have go into the holding bay, and the others were placed into the holding bay. As time progressed yesterday, we were able to transfer 27 of those prisoners to Georgetown Prison. 51 were sent to the Timeri Prison, and as we speak, 50 prisoners are in transit to the Mazuni Prison. This leaves an additional 156 prisoners who will have to be accommodated in the holding facility.
Samuels highlighted that several prisoners attempted to escape, but their efforts were foiled due to the increased security that were on the ground. However, the matter is being investigated and leads are being followed.
8 prisoners have been named. We are aware of who those prisoners are, and the police have been furnished with that information, which I'm quite sure they will do further investigation.
Additionally, during yesterday's ordeal, 11 prisoners received injuries, but no deaths were recorded. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
The Public Infrastructure Ministry says it has received videos from residents on the west bank of Demerara alluding to the removal of street lights within their village. The ministry wishes to inform residents between Lagrange and Port Royal West Bank Demerara Region 3 that the electrical contractors are currently removing all metallic poles in close proximity to all of the GPL's or Guyana Power and Light Incorporated's 13.8 kV express feeder lines. This is due to the risks this poses to maintenance crews. Additionally, the lights are being reinstalled by Skytech Enterprise International Incorporated, Thomas Electrical Construction and Manufacturing, and JJ Electrical Contracting Service for a period of 10 days. Works are expected to conclude on July 22. According to the contracts, the contractors are required to re-establish highway lighting networks using GPL's wooden lantern poles. The electrical department is therefore condemning all social media posts that seek to defame the name of the Ministry of Public Infrastructure's electrical department. Even as screening and testing are on the way in the mining district of Aranka-Arangoy of the Cuyuni River in Region 7, all other efforts are being placed on a massive COVID-19 education campaign for miners and persons frequenting the district. This is as the National COVID-19 Task Force seeks to implement strict measures across mining areas. Felicia Valenzuela has that report.
Dr. Leston Payne, Deputy Director of the Health Emergency Operations Center, who is heading the team at Aranka-Arangoy, says to implement any measure regarding COVID-19 in the mining area would require a multi-sectoral approach.
It's a multi-sectoral approach. As you're aware, we have the public health team, we have CDC, we have DPI, we have Corps of Wardens, we have police. So the approach is going to be a multi-sectoral one where we're going to be focusing on education of the populace because they need to know what we're dealing with.
Dr. Payne says some measures will be strict and thus persons would need to give their informed consent to the process.
Because it's in their best interest, because that's a mining area. And if we're going to be implementing these measures, it will have some adverse economic effect on them.
In the meantime, Aranka resident Wilbur Wade told InfoHub that he welcomes the initiative.
I think it's a very, very good initiative because a lot of people in this Baghdad is not taking it serious.
Wade says in spite of COVID-19 reports reaching the area, persons were still not taking the matter seriously.
Even masks, you've seen people wearing masks and these kind of thing. And of course we hear what's going on in the news, how much people test positive here and so on.
Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
Remember to do your part to ensure that you do not put yourself at risk during this time. If you have a cough, fever, or difficulty breathing, please seek medical care early, but call those hotline numbers first. That's all for today. Connect with us on our social media platforms, including WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, as we bring you the latest and important news related to COVID-19 and much more. You can also subscribe to our website, dpi.gov.gy. Your Bridge Report is up next. Goodbye for now.